Success in creating AI could be the biggest event in the history of civilization, but it could also be the last, unless we learn how to avoid the risk. These words by Stephen Hawking remind us that building future isn't just about innovation, it's about doing it right. Today, we have someone who's done exactly that. Meet the guest of our show, Himanshu Verma, who is founder of Mustard, a tech entrepreneur who has rewritten the playbook of building AI powered smart glasses. Himanshu has taken his concept from zero to CES in just 16 weeks and from product visibility to acquisition in 10 months. Not by chasing hype, but by prioritizing real world execution. He is here to share the real world roadmap on turning complex hardware into market ready product, designing for manufacturing from day one, navigating to the China dominated supply chains, and winning in the most crowded tech categories out there. If you're wondering on how to build, validate, and launch hardware without burning much of your capital or time, then this conversation is for you. Welcome to Build to Create, a podcast series by Analogy, where we sit with the founders and talk about the product journey. This episode is about Mustard, AI powered smart glasses that went from concept to acquisition in record time. It was really interesting to talk to you when we had a call. And Mustard has been a product which, when I was introspecting about what all things I should be doing in the podcast and searching about what all products to be covered from Analogy, because Analogy has been into industry for 10 years now. They have built so many products. And picking up Mustard was something like so Gen Z coded. Because AI smart glasses now everyone is taken over AI. May it be smart TVs, even the watch I'm wearing is a smartwatch.
Yes.
After that, we have so many smart devices that are coming out. In an industry where AI is been crowding and taking over all the home appliances, all the everyday products, how do you think that AI eyewear is different and should be something that is scaled?
So whenever I'm approaching a product, uh, it has it has two options. You either create a new form factor that should add to the utility of the product. Um, for example, having like a ring or something like that, which is something that people wear, but then it just adds extra functionality.
Right.
Or you can have something which people would you'd like a mobile phone, right? People need to have the habit of carrying it around everywhere. So eyewear in a way feels a very natural form factor when it comes to AI devices, because when you have to give input to AI, it has to be through your voice. That's the best source of interaction, is what I feel personally, and that's most natural. As well as eyewear in itself as a form factor feels very natural. It feels like a natural upgrade to getting into smart eyewear compared to any other device. If we have a AI on a ring, to give commands, probably we'll have to bring it closer to, which would be very unnatural.
Right.
Having a glasses which is right there, which has AI, and it's right there. You can speak to it. You can get information from it. You can ask it to record, things around you if you are having some important moments.
Yeah.
Something, if you want to get information, it just feels very natural.
Right.
So I'd say smart glasses feels a natural entry point to AI interaction compared to any other devices that we are looking at in terms of AI. So that's the idea.
Yeah, that's really wonderful because glasses is something, it's like a everyday object to
Right.
everyone, and like most of the people do wear them.
Exactly.
And even if you don't have a numbered glass, you do wear sunglasses. So
Exactly.
it's like you're directly or indirectly covering the entire population that's there, irrespective of the fact they use it or not
Right. You
on daily
don't have to
basis.
put somebody on a habit to,
Yeah.
saying that, hey, we are offering these advantages and that's why you should wear these
Right.
glasses. It's
Right.
just very natural, I'd
True.
say.
True. That's wonderful. And I've been studying a little bit about AI smart glasses now,
Right.
and it has been evolving around years.
Mhm.
I think the first AI glasses or the AR glass that came out was around in 2011,
Right.
which was the Epson one.
Right.
And after that, it kept evolving, and then Google also launched a smart glasses series, and now the Ray-Ban smart glasses are out in the market. And if you see recent past few months, it has taken over popularity about, oh, we are recording with Ray-Ban, and it's quite popularized right now.
Right.
What do you think, what speed up the acquisition or the speed up the functioning and manufacturing of AI glasses within 2 years over that period of since 2011?
So I think to start with, smart glasses were initially, I mean, thought as of a product which gives you information.
Hmm.
And that information could have been in two ways.
Mm-hmm.
One is, initially what was thought was it should overlay information in front of you, right? uh, I think the issue with that was pure physics. It's
Mm-hmm.
not very easy to overlay information right in front of you because there are a lot of factors like brightness, the power of your eye,
Mm-hmm.
like having it compatible with prescription lenses,
Yeah.
and then just the physics of it, portraying it or overlaying it at just at the right
Hmm.
um, you know area
Hmm.
so that it doesn't distract you.
Right.
That was a very major problem that took a lot of time to solve,
Hmm.
and right now it is closer to getting solved.
Hmm.
What really sped up was giving this information in a audio format,
Hmm.
which was enabled through the advancements which was in AI. So then, because on those initial phases there was not a option to give audio responses as naturally as it is today.
Mm-hmm.
Once it became very natural, people
Yeah.
started adopting audio as a form of information more compared to optics as a form of information.
Right.
So that really sped up. And with brands like Meta entering in, I mean, they had the muscle power to market it in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So that really broke the market. And that's what we are seeing right now.
True. Because the thing is that with AI smart glasses, it's like popularized in mouth spreading of the word, oh, that is out right now.
Right.
But if you look at the consumption side or adaptation of it, I don't feel so it's still at that high level scale. Because if we are hyping it up in a level where we are like, oh, AI smart glasses is something new, it's the next gen thing,
Right.
yet we don't see many of people even thinking of, okay, oh, I'm planning to buy this, as we plan to buy, oh, I want to go buy a Mac, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to buy a watch or something like that. We are
Right.
still not at that level of adaptation to AI eyewears. What is your take on that concept? Why aren't masses willing or like have initiated to go behind them right now?
So I think it's all about creating that ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we were also working on Mustard previously, uh, we observed that with all these devices coming in, everybody has their own set of use cases that they are looking at, right? And with currently, with the hardware that is in the market in AI glasses, they are not very open in terms of integrating those use cases, or I'd say they are very slow in terms of integrating those use cases. So then they are not even able to explore what is that key use case that somebody is looking at. I think that is one of the biggest blocker. And then there's another part to creating that ecosystem. One is creating the whole application ecosystem where people can build their own use cases and then use it as per needed. But then there's also second factor which goes a bit more technical, which is in terms of the interaction of these smart glasses with your mobile phone as an accessory, right? Wherein the information from smart glasses has to be transmitted to the mobile phone and then processed over there and then acted upon over there. The thing is that whole layer, that whole transmission layer, that's not also very smooth. So, for example, a lot of applications get skilled on the background, right? And these smart glasses, let's say if I ask it to take a picture and then ask to describe a monument, if it gets skilled on the background, the application, then you'd have no response from those smart glasses. So these challenges, one is on the technical side, second is on the ecosystem side, are something that is acting as a hindrance. That being said, I if you see the history of any consumer electronics devices, um, generally the devices which we use even today have always had a rich ecosystem of applications that were being developed on them. Take computers, take mobile phones, probably two of the biggest consumer products in the history. All of those have a strong ecosystem of developers who are working on them. So that ecosystem, both from technology perspective as well as developer perspective, is something that is missing over here, and that is going to catapult the number of units being shipped out because it would be adapted to each and every user's use case.
Okay. So if someone who is a the initial stage founder currently and they are into hardware, they are planning to build their hardware product out in the market, what are the mistakes you personally created while building masters on initial days that you feel like, oh, maybe if I could have just been little conscious, or maybe someone would have guided me on this. Later on, my lot of production or lot of product development things would have been easy.
Not rushing it
Mm.
as well as speeding towards it. Uh, and there has to be a balance to it. You have to have complete plan of the product, but not chase perfection. And it's very easy to do that in software because
Mhm.
I think generally in terms of software development cycles, people have a lot of knowledge,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of knowledge democratically available in the market. You can learn about it, and then there are a lot of tools. It doesn't involve a lot of capex.
Yeah.
But when it comes to hardware, you have to account that once you plan, there are long development cycles associated with it. Now, how do you make it small so that you can have a feedback ready product at each and every stage?
Yeah.
That has to be planned very strongly. And I'd very much recommend two things. One is getting an expert over there, someone who has seen a lot of these development cycles that have happened. And second, having a deep understanding of that segment. So it you can build a use case driven product, but then it has to fit in the certain segment, because if you are looking at it from a future term, the supply chain, the cost of the product, the support on the product that you are going to get, you can't build it alone. There has to be a lot of people working on it.
Yeah.
So I think that also has to be factored in.
Mhm.
These are the things which has to be factored in, which only experts can tell you. So if you want me to summarize, I'd have someone expert with me planning on the product, as well as from my perspective, from an entrepreneur perspective, I should have my own timelines in terms of getting feedback, in terms of getting it out to the consumers and collecting those feedback also planned out in parallel.
Mhm.
Both of these things will help immensely. And then on the baseline, having an understanding that hardware generally is very capex heavy, as well as it's not very agile. There's development cycles involved to that.
Yeah.
Having an understanding of those along the planning
Mm-hmm.
process helps a lot.
Right. So you mentioned two things. One is having someone who is already expertise or experience in that journey,
Right.
and secondly having the understanding of this segment.
Right.
So when you say understanding of the segment, there are founders
Hmm.
who have ideations
Mm-hmm.
which are not from their field, but
Right.
yet it is an impactful product if it comes out.
Right.
And secondly, if you talk about expertise, people mostly consider it as, oh, I need a consultant with me,
Mm-hmm.
which is not actually a fact.
No.
Like it can be a person who has already been into that industry or working in that journey.
True.
Just for example, if we take product
Mm-hmm.
development, we can, like, people can go and access with design studios or the product
Right.
development studios which are there. On the same line, in India there is no much of popularity with that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people are not willing to come and be part of these studios and taking help from them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, like, doing it, avoiding a studio help and doing it all alone
Mm-hmm.
add ups to their consuming a lot of time when they build the product?
Of course. I mean, uh, for example, we when we were working on these smart glasses initially, we tried to do a lot of those PCBs and everything by
Mhm.
ourselves on our own,
Mhm.
uh, without having any understanding of how these existing PCBs are like, and that created a lot of these small issues which have not been matured because not a lot of people have worked upon that segment popping up. And every time a lot of PCBs and development cycle, time and money is being wasted. And then we came to a realization that we had worked in the audio industry. And if you generally see a smart glass at that point of time, it's actually two audio PCBs
Mhm.
attached on each of those sides. So that parallel helped me a lot in getting into that ecosystem and fastening the development. Hardware is a very closed ecosystem. Design studios and any product expertise in general, if you just reach out to those
Mhm.
people, founders, they'll be very helpful to you. And then they can grant you an access into the hardware ecosystem. And then it's easier to find out. So I'd very much recommend, if any founder is out there, to just get into the ecosystem. If they can get into general hardware ecosystem, that is also good. If they have an understanding of the segment that they are looking for and are already in hardware, I'd recommend them to get into that segment ecosystem.
Mhm. Right. So, on that line, you mentioned that you have worked in audio industry previously. So, is it a case that you have built a product in the audio industry previously before working on Mustard?
Yeah. I did do some products at my previous experience at Boat.
Okay.
uh, there were a few of those products, particularly in Nirvana series, wherein uh, there was a lot of things that we worked upon, and it gave me a lot of insights on how this market actually operates, how the product development actually operates. So
Mhm.
that helped me a lot.
Yeah. So, it's like always when you do certain kind of work previously,
Hmm.
it adds up to your experience, and then some or the other way you would never realize, but when you are doing something else in your life, it will just be like a random rush of your memories, be like, oh, I know this, I somewhere am aware about these things. It does help a lot when you go into a long term journey at this stage.
True, because it's very confusing at times.
Yeah.
So experience obviously helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a, I mean, compared to when you compare it to any other industry in general, you don't get a lot of experience in hardware.
Mhm.
So that is why whatever experience that you are getting are almost like it's golden.
Right.
And personally to me that helped a lot, because I am a second time founder when it comes to mustard.
Oh.
The first time when I did this, I had no understanding of what we are doing. We were just probably a bunch of 20-year-old, and we had gotten this, nice opportunity of doing some work in the field of hardware through our own startup, and it was just a cool thing to do. I mean,
Yeah.
like, probably that was the only thought behind our head. One was passion for electronics, and second, startups are cool.
Yeah.
That's why we did it. It's not cool.
That's
It's not
the
cool,
fact
man.
side.
Yeah, it's not. It results into a lot of stories, but things like going into a very closed segment without any proper planning and
Yeah.
without an understanding of the industry, you get a lot of learnings.
Yeah.
I think that pushed me to get some real hardware understanding, and I'm very glad that I did that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always people who have done the startups and been founders. I've been in talking with like a lot of them even previously before I joined Analogy, and like one statement they all said was, okay, it's good that you do it because it gives you lot of knowledge, but it's not cool.
It's not. I think what was that? I'd say somewhere around 2018.
Mhm.
It was really booming up,
Yeah.
and it was just cool to have a startup in college kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we went out of college and it was not cool anymore. So I mean,
It was like, okay, class closed.
yeah, I mean, oh, there's no one around me to see that I have a startup. Now I have to do it alone. It
Yeah.
was
So
not good.
it was like, then you have to be the adult now.
Yeah, that's a reality check that you get.
Yeah, but that's true. That's so true. And when you while building mustard, when you took up the step up that okay, we tried it in house, but we now know that we need an expert help.
Mhm.
When you came to studio with help, what was the part you wanted the studio to play in the journey of mustard? Was it like, oh, I just want you to take over, I'll just guide, or was it like, okay, only this particular segment and then we'll take over? How was it for you that?
So the idea was where this thought came from was the fact that we had an understanding. I mean, when you are going into consumer, right, you need to have something very presentable. You understand that there's demand, but if it doesn't look like something that you can wear outside, especially in terms of smart glasses, you're losing on a lot of those customers who actually need it but are not just wearing it because it
Mm-hmm.
looks bad.
Yeah.
And after you have done some validation, it becomes a necessity.
Yeah.
And I've been working, I mean, I've had experience with Vyas, working with Vyas for a long time before that
Mm-hmm.
even. So I had an understanding that I need him on this journey.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been, I mean, even when I think probably when I was starting out, I remember we were in the basement of like we were in a parking space at a nearby building here in Bangalore only. And I just told him that day probably that, hey Vyas, I'm probably going to work on something of my own. I still remember that. And he was like, yeah, go for it. That's
Oh.
what he said. I think that's just one entrepreneur supporting other entrepreneur, and realizing that there's some potential over there. And it was very exciting to see that probably I followed through with his advice. And After 6, he was all along with me on the journey. I
Mhm.
kept giving him updates, and towards the end of it, when I actually struck to this problem, and I was like, hey Vyas, we are going to launch, and I think we can't get it to a level where it is presentable.
Yeah.
When you are hitting the US market, when you are hitting the foreign markets, it's very important, and taking care of ergonomics and everything like that. We are very asset right in a way. We don't want to have an in-house team. That's a
Yeah.
waste. In the early days, having that. So then he was like, "Hey, well, let's collaborate,"
Oh.
and that was a very interesting journey that we took from there, wherein I was very much, because I had worked with him before, I was very much assured of the capabilities of
Mhm.
analogy. And I was like, hey, this is the objective that we have to go into CS. We are doing a Kickstarter campaign, planning for that. I need it to look like a product which people would want to put on their heads,
Mhm.
and we'd probably need 2 or 3 variations of it. So please go ahead. You are expert in creating that. And then wherever I can be of help, I'll be definitely of help.
Mhm.
But I mean, you guys are the expert, right? So
Yeah.
I'd probably work on the other activities that would help me grow the business.
Mhm.
And I think that should be the approach as well, because doing a lot of these, you don't have the time, you don't have the money to do these, focus on these nitty gritties initially. You need to have very strong partners who have the mind space to focus on
Mhm.
those nitty gritties and who have the expertise to do that. And trusting them to do that, that's the best thing that you can do. And then focus on your business, let the relationship evolve from there.
Got it.
uh, that was the idea.
Yeah, that's interesting. So one thing about Wes, even I would like to mention is like him being an entrepreneur. He, irrespective of fact who the person in front of him is, if we say, "Hey, I'm thinking maybe I can or maybe should I," like we will be doubtful, but he
Mhm.
won't be. He'll be, yeah, just go for it.
Right.
And sometimes somewhere in founder journey or as an entrepreneur, if you look at it, it's always just a little bit of push that you need from an
True.
external person or a force that okay, maybe it is possible that way.
I think it gets passed around.
Yeah.
I mean, now next time when I am having someone come to me and say the same
Yeah.
thing, I'd also probably say, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
And I'll say it, I mean, straight up in a way. Obviously not, giving some advice that kind of
Yeah.
harms them, because entrepreneurship itself is a very big journey. I'd
Mm.
make them aware of the things that they
Yeah.
are going to go through. If they are first time founders, I'll
Yeah.
do that. But if they are second time, I'll
Mhm.
just say, yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
If you have the conviction, you should explore.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen? You are, really talented person. There's a lot of people. Everybody in every organization are looking for entrepreneurs
Mhm.
would want to have them. The
Yeah.
worst thing that happens is you end up in a really good company at a really good position,
Yeah.
and working on the thing that you love.
Yeah.
that's that
Yeah.
sounds a good deal to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely is. So while I was studying and preparing for this podcast thing, I went to everyone in the office. And I was like, I need you to sit and tell me what you think about it. And one thing in common that everyone mentioned was, so as we mentioned previously, is like Ray and smart glasses, Meta smart glasses are for normal people consumption.
Right.
But you, when you came in with Muster, you were not like, oh, this is for general people. This you are building for businesses.
Hmm.
What is the difference between when you're creating a same product for a normal audience and you're creating the similar, like the same product for the businesses?
Oh, so one thing probably, it was open. We had
Mhm.
kept it open in a way. So we were not focusing on a very singular use case, because what we observed was that businesses also wanted to use it, and then there were a few individuals who also wanted to use the same thing, and then they wanted to create their own use cases. A lot of times we had businesses who would actually give us some volumes,
Mhm.
but then we were also focused on creating that ecosystem for consumers as well.
Right.
So the core idea of it all was that it should be customizable enough. There should be a bare minimum hardware which serves 80% of the
Mhm.
purpose, and then have the capability to customize to their own use cases in terms of adding software as well as to a certain level of hardware
Yeah.
functionalities. That was the core thought behind it. What we saw was people could see these glasses and they could just think of a lot of things that they'd want to do with it.
Mhm.
That was the idea, that
Yeah.
because they can do a lot of things with it,
Yeah.
why don't we give them the capability, and why don't we enable them to build on it?
Yeah. So this reminds me of Crocs. Like they like few months back, it was like Crocs is like just the base is same,
Right.
but you customize it based on like you put on a charm or you customize the color, size,
True.
or what material you want it to. So it's basically Crocs but for smart glasses.
Right. I think we have been playing with with that idea for a long time. Whenever I have been adding having discussions on
Hmm.
audio as well as when it came to smart glasses. I think having some certain levels of customization to your product really makes it unique to you,
Yeah.
and that that power should be there with the customer,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it personal. Like having these small touches that makes that product yours. I
True.
mean, other than but I mean, if you don't do that, almost everybody has the same product that they are looking at, right?
Right.
And in mobile phones, I think we still remember that there were a certain set of applications still now
Yeah.
that someone would use. They have the option to customize their wallpapers.
Mm-hmm.
They have the option to customize their icons, things like those,
Yeah.
which makes which adds a personal touch.
True.
So that goes a bit deeper in terms of adding use cases as well.
Mhm.
And it's very important that in the early level of some
Mhm.
products adoption life cycle, people should have that independence.
Right.
So
Yes.
that was the thought.
Yeah. That's nice. Another thing, based on this thing, if I look at it as a founder, there will be also a certain level of insecurity coming out. Like, in what way is that if we are letting people or businesses be like, okay, this is the base we are providing you, customize it on based on how you want, and then you guys go sell it. But what if someone be like, okay, they took the base from you, they customized it, and then in the market it came out that as like it's their new product that I have launched. So during this business, do you think that is a possibility that will happen, and how is the plan that how we can be that it can be avoided?
That's a good question. Um, I think we thought about it. The best way in which you can control it is keeping some of those components or key IPs under your control. And secondly, it's not very easy until and unless it's a very big company to provide it at that cost. When it comes to B2B use cases or something like that, I think you can be very open about the fact that, hey, if you want to do it under your own branding, let's just collaborate.
Yeah.
You be the front, we'll be on the back, wherein we write those names on our smart glasses, and you be the end service provider. Um, the good thing about all of this is during the initial phases of a product coming out, there's not a lot of people who think in that direction
Mm.
because they themselves are experimenting with that.
Yeah.
And I think that gives you enough time to have some level of IP that is associated with you. if that doesn't protect in a way, go very fast on execution, make yourself visible everywhere, so that people, when they see your product, they actually they can see that and say that, hey, this is this brand. So I think IP and having some core IPs, as well as open to collaboration opportunities, as well as the speed of execution, would solve that problem for you.
So for the audience who are watching, I would like to mention this thing that Mustard, like Himanshu, took the concept to CES within 16 weeks, and from the product visibility to the actual acquisition within like 10 months, right?
Right.
So it's a really good speed at which a product is like, being developed and executed in the actual market.
Right.
Uh, you as a founder, how did you manage this speeding up situation where there is a lot of chances while you're building a product, there is a lot of iteration that happens
True.
at the prototype stage itself?
True. So I think we faced that as well. During our initial days, we tried to do a lot of things by ourselves. And I think one of the things that I have mentioned earlier, as well as mentioned now, is about expertise. In hardware, it's not just hardware. You have to take care of power. You have to take care of the processing. You have to take. There are so many algorithms going on the inside. So I'd like to, give a very good, comparison of it in terms of libraries, right? Like when you are doing software development, there are a lot of libraries. People don't start building their own libraries, right? Doesn't make sense. That would just speed up that was just slow down the whole cycle.
Exactly.
You focus on the end product, and you ensure that those libraries that you are using is functional. And this was one of the discussion that we were having in, I think, there's a FOSS, free open source society, I think, something like that. I don't recall the full form right now, wherein there was a hardware person, and he gave a very strong idea. We were just in a lecture, and in Church Street, and he mentioned to me that, I mean, one of the things that I do is take up a lot of those component from the market that is already available, and then add my touch to it. When he says my touch to it, it's adding small components that really add to the USP of your product. So for us, it was the same. So what we did was we took something that is existing in the market, something that has been stabilized to a level which you can attribute like libraries, and then adding some of those sensors which are unique to your product, and then interfacing those, then building. So then you become very fast to market. And once you kind of mature, then you can do a backward development in terms of optimizing the other factors. It's like you should have an understanding of what is your core feature, and that should work absolutely well, which provides value to the customer. The rest of the things you should pick up from whatever is there in the market.
True.
That's speed up.
Yeah, that's definitely something that you can learn from this actually.
Yeah.
Because most of the founders out there who build, they are like, if like it's a big of myth, I would say,
Right.
in first time founders ki, okay, if I have to build something, it has to be a complete scratch thing, and until and unless it's completely mine, like interior, exterior, all the things, it's never gonna be like, I cannot call it mine or something like that, which is not really true in market sense when you come out
It's
there.
not a science project, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to build business. You have left your job. There's a team around you. You have to hit to the market fast.
Yeah.
In that, thinking about that is a luxury, I'd say. And that luxury runs out pretty fast.
Yeah.
When there are when you have to start when you start seeing your development costs and timelines bleeding out,
Yeah.
things like those happen. You have to realize that you have to get out to the market fast so
True.
that you can earn some money and then keep your business afloat.
Yeah.
So I think thinking on that terms a bit early
Mhm.
really helps provide
Hmm.
you clarity in terms of what your journey is going to look like.
Got it. Got it. Another thing is that uh, people who are doing job currently and
Mhm,
like they have an idea and they're like, "Ki, I'll be doing my job and simultaneously focus on this thing."
mhm,
Or they be like, "Okay, I have fully packed, ready. Now I'm leaving it and like full focus on this thing." You coming from the similar background,
mhm.
what do you think is better, or what do you think, is it a personal choice, or is it a dependency on situation, that which one you should do, like should you completely leave your job
Mhm.
or run it parallelly?
So I think it has to be situation.
Hmm.
And also it has to be situation has few parameters. Uh, you can be if you are young, definitely recommend it. Be very frugal in terms of spending, and then you can do that actually
Yeah.
when you are young. You can take those risks and then plan things accordingly. Figure you have a lot of time to figure out because you have time. When when you go to a certain way in your career, then you have to start planning things. If there are some financial dependency, right, like if your family is dependent on you, things
Hmm.
like those, if you have a family which or if you or if your parents are dependent on you, you have to plan that accordingly
Yeah.
later in your life.
Hmm.
So I think it very much depends upon situation.
Hmm.
And but obviously, that being said, there has to be a leap of faith
Yeah.
in terms of conviction at certain point, when you
Hmm.
realize that okay, if I do this, probably this works out and then this will get solved.
Yeah.
But then there's someone who again kind of from my previous company. I was in a startup which was a Y Combinator startup, and
Hmm.
the founder over there said that I usually keep a 6 months target list, and throughout that period, I'm very much attached to my idea, to my conviction. I'm very much I'll ignore, I'll operate, you know, irreasonably in a way.
Oh, yeah.
But then at the end of those 6 months, on that day, I'll operate very logically in terms of what I have achieved and what are going to be my next steps. Twice or thrice I'll do this, and probably by the end of 1.5 year, I'll keep a set deadline that if I don't do this by this, that then and there I'll stop it.
Hmm.
So I think it is very easy in the entrepreneurship journey to just kind of get kind of get into the zone
Yeah.
and keep on working, but then should keep some logical checkpoints in
True.
over few months, personally as well as startups progress,
Hmm.
on what you are doing
Right.
and do you want to do it anymore.
Hmm.
So I'd recommend
Hmm.
everyone to probably have that as well.
Yeah. How was it for you personally? Because you were working in a very well-known branded company
Right,
in like audio industry,
right,
and then you left the job and you started working on this.
right. Um, I think there's always an element of entrepreneurship once it hits you.
Mm.
It's kind of like a high which doesn't let you go.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing though. But I think why that boat, this the decision still was a bit informed, because the segment was shifting from putting earphones inside your ears to
Hmm.
actually a open ear structure.
Yeah.
And you can see the consumers behavior shifting more in terms of comfort.
Hmm.
So then at around those times, smart glasses I could see, because I was again, hardware being a very close ecosystem, you can see uh, some of those movements happening 7 to 8 months before they actually hit the market.
Mhm.
So then there was already some conviction over there.
Yeah.
Second thing that I had to figure out is in terms of my finances and in terms of what are the timeline that I'm setting up. What is it feasible at this point in time? At least for me, it was. So these two decisions kind of helped me a lot. Evaluations, I'd say,
Mhm.
helped me a lot in terms of making my decision.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think if I again do it or something, I'll probably account for something like a 40-50%
Yeah.
breathing space uh, in my plan.
True.
Like I'll have some space planned for
Mhm.
me so that I can, if there are things that doesn't go my way, because it's never going to go
Yeah.
that way. And also I think you have to give some time to luck.
Mm.
It's very important. That's one of the things that I
Yeah.
learned in this journey specifically,
Mhm.
that it's very important. You need to have time to give your luck a chance.
Oh. Mm.
And if your time keeps on running out, if your money keeps on running out, you don't have enough opportunities to
Mhm.
kind of act on that luck.
Yeah. So, was it hard to leave boat? Like, didn't Aman stop you?
Aman didn't, but Samir did. Samir was a very good mentor,
Mhm.
and I stayed connected to him. I am connected with him even as a matter of fact now.
Mhm.
So he has been very instrumental in terms of, as a matter of fact, how did how did I get job in
Boat.
boat, right?
Yeah.
So I was a HR reject.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got rejected in HR around because I didn't know some of those terminologies, because I've never been a part of the hardware industry.
Mm.
So and then I did a cold message to Samir on LinkedIn that hey, I have done a deep dive on some of your products. Luckily enough, that's exactly how they do deep dive in products.
Oh.
So I so you during the interview, he was actually surprised.
Mhm.
How do you know about this? Do you know anyone at boat? I was like, purely out of logic, I
Yeah.
kind of thought that what are your channels and what are your major feedback would be coming
Mhm.
from channels, and he was like very impressed. So I think towards the end of the interview only he
Mhm.
offered me
Oh.
the job, and I was a HR reject. So that would have been funny, him saying to HR,
I want this guy whom you
yeah.
rejected.
And probably 6-7 months after, when we were having those conversation, and me, Samir, and Aman were alone in a, I mean,
Mhm.
there was an event, and there's some moment came in where
Mhm.
we three were there. We were just discussing, and I just told them this story.
Uh,
Aman was like, nice, we fired that HR after 3 months.
Moving on to next about a project.
Hmm.
So what I heard from Team is ki you really have a good communication with factories. Maybe I don't know what magic you do on them, but like you are too good with communicating what your requirements are.
Uh-huh.
Um, Being someone who is good at like factory communication is like one of the most important skills these days,
Hmm.
since most of the vendors, like manufacturing units are in China and not in India
Hmm.
currently.
True.
So how is the communication you do? What are the checklist you do? Like, okay, maybe this is how I'm going forward this factory or I'm not.
Hmm.
What is your take on that thing?
Got it. So for that, I think the whole motivation for doing that was my first product failed solely due to the fact that I couldn't communicate. I communicated the UI in a wrong way to the factory over there, and they sent out final products with the wrong UI, and on the actual UI sheet there was another UI. So that's how that happened. And then I was like, oh, to make anything successful, we have to communicate very clearly to our partners. And for that, you have to understand China. Two things. One is they understand business, so they trust you only when you have done some business with them. When there's a monetary transaction that has been done with you, that's key. That's a key. And that monetary interaction, uh, as well as physical interaction in a way, it shows your commitment. You can travel to China and speak with them, or you can trust them from here and start some early engagements like that. That can be very small amount as well, doesn't have to be very big. That's first part of the trust. Second part, uh, in the same series, when you have to communicate with them, is you have to understand that there's no good translation applications which translate from English to Mandarin. Never does. Always, there would be there is a 90% chance that it is going to miss some of those words, and then the inference goes wrong. So you have to understand from their perspective. So some of the things that I usually do, one thing that I usually very much keep a check on is that we explain it in the right way, in form of a flow chart, in a visual form, compared to anything else. No documentation, nothing for the time being, because to be very honest, if you are going to send a document in English, they are going to translate that using their own application, whatever application they are using, to Mandarin. And if even one of that goes sideways, then your whole product is messed up. So then it's very easy to just get them on a call, have some flowcharts, have a visual way of explanation, rather than relying a lot on your verbal skills. And then also having someone who has a fluent understanding, who's coming from a factory background, um, both in English and Mandarin, really, really helps over there.
Yeah. So, did you learn Mandarin?
Uh, to get to learn Kannada.
Yeah.
I have to do that as well.
Yeah.
I think I'll learn Kannada first and then Mandarin probably.
Yeah. Maybe mustard will help us translate.
Yeah, exactly. I think it should. It
Mm.
does right now.
Mm.
Uh, that should have been my motivation to build it. But there are a lot of translation, applications. I think the first thing that they pitch when you go to China in terms of these products is
Mhm.
translation application, because I think that's most useful for them.
Yeah. So it's a two-way thing,
Yeah.
and they're earning from that.
Exactly. They're selling their own problem to other people and they're earning from it.
True. No, the one thing I see with Chinese people is like they will sell you anything and everything.
Right.
Like you cannot deny the fact that you see something. Maybe we still, like, there is a taboo, oh, made in China is not good quality, but it is not. Like, even
Yeah.
if you go on large scale, China builds good quality products and
Absolutely.
it sells it so good.
I mean, iPhones get made in China. Oh, I think the thing is, Chinese have it it figured out so well that they have products at each and every price point. And there's a good point to it wherein it's affordable, but then there's also a bad point to it wherein if you don't negotiate it properly, you are it's not very easy to attach a value to certain product. Right. And if you don't know what is value of that product,
Right.
then any salesperson, any person in front of you would want to act act according to their advantage only.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it becomes like a battle of expertise. But they have everything. They have
Right.
everything from top-notch devices. As a matter of fact, go to CES and any trading exhibitions now outside, and they are probably the ones bringing out the most innovative
Right,
hardware products out there.
right. True. Moving on to the same thing on CES. You've been there, you know about it. And like recently in CES this year, they showed us the smart Lego cubes, the Lego
Mm,
bricks.
right.
You heard about it?
No, what was it?
So basically, Lego came up with this thing that they
Mhm.
have AI integrated their bricks now.
Okay.
So it's quite fancy, very
Is it?
honestly.
Like
Yeah.
what? I mean, does it tell you to put something on top of like?
No, no, it has an AI integration. So it's one of the most fanciest thing I saw in CES this year.
Right.
And like being like so many, like Lego is the basic toy everyone knows about. It's like irrespective of the fact it was not AI integrated till date,
Right.
people do play with it, like use it, buy it, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now AI has been consumed at such a high level
Mm-hmm.
that even such brands are like thinking, okay, maybe we should not fall apart from the place and like start integrated in their products as well.
Right.
But one thing what people are not understanding is that AI is being monetized.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you see like the open bots that are available currently,
Mm-hmm.
everyone is providing you with plans. Okay, you upgrade, you
Mm.
upgrade, you
Right.
upgrade, you will get more features, you will
Right.
have better results on our product, whatever you are using.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a certain time, what it will become is that people will only people who are having higher level of costing to give to the
Mm-hmm.
bots are the ones who will bring up good result.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it is like people should be understanding this fact of monetization over AI?
Um, when you say monetization, or like people will have
Mm.
someone who has access to those memberships who would be able to take more advantage of that device, is
Yes,
what you are trying to
yes,
say.
yes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but then there, I think also there would be a tiering in terms of the use cases, right?
Mm.
I think a very good similarity that you can express over here is the app ecosystem.
Mhm.
And there's like these applications, right? You pay membership only for the applications that
Mhm.
you use a lot.
Yeah.
Rest of those are
Mhm.
probably a economy wherein you
Yeah.
use some of them get shipped by default.
Yeah.
Some of them have some free tiering and then expert
Mhm.
tiering. Some of them have an entry level.
Yeah.
So it's going to follow that journey.
Mhm.
I don't think it's going to go any other model that I can think of other than that.
Mhm.
And there would be also bundling that would be happening. So there,
Yeah.
let's say if you have fitness applications,
Mhm.
you according to your lifestyle, if you are working a lot on your fitness, a
Mhm.
lot on the food that you are consuming,
Mhm.
a lot on the sports that you are playing. So all of these would kind of get bundled into a membership.
Mhm.
So I think it would be customized according to each and every
Mhm.
person, and then virtually it becomes a way that, hey, if you want to be better at this, can probably use this AI.
Right.
So it's going to kind of get evolved in that
That
direction.
direction. True. Got it. And like now, since I mentioned that a lot of companies are coming up with this thing, integrating AI with their
Right.
products, and not just AI, but like there are a lot of people who are coming up with ideations of creating a product, like an actual hardware product, and not just a software that can work. Uh, do you think there is a possibility of growth of this ecosystem where there are number of studios increasing, like product development studios increasing, and number of founders are already lined up? Do you
Mhm.
think that ecosystem in India at the current stage will be building that strong level?
And this is only for AI devices, or
No, no, overall product market that is out there.
I think that should happen. I think um, EMS design and founders should work together
Hmm.
to bring out a lot of these products. That ecosystem is missing very much. And I think we should take a lesson or two from the Chinese ecosystem over there, where that happens a lot. I mean, it's very easy for you to go to any um, ODM or Chinese manufacturer and just tell them your idea. They'll work along with design studio. They'll work along with a design studio and then do that. I think that ecosystem needs to be there in India, and over the period of time, if given the right attention, it would be created as well, wherein the founders, design studio, as well as manufacturers work very closely to bring out a product. It just it doesn't have to be a single person that should be working on it, because it's a very fragmented ecosystem.
Right.
And it's a lot of capex that is involved over there. So you have to be very thoughtful of that situation and then work in the ecosystem to get out a product.
Right. So on the same line, what do you think? Like, what are the steps at this stage overall founders and the studio should be taking to make sure that down the lane this
Mhm.
ecosystem starts building?
I think there should be more interaction about ideas and segment of those ideas. Um, Founders should be more open. I mean, I know about first time founders, they are very reserved in terms of their ideas. There's no point of being reserved, you need to have that conviction to build that idea
Yeah.
and let it evolve. For second time founders or for like follow up founders, they understand this, but for first time founders, especially this, they have to be very open in terms of having conversation with design studios. There needs to be strong discussions that should be happening within them. And I think there should be a part that this governance bodies, government should play on this as well. They are very key stakeholders. Second, the manufacturing ecosystem in India should also play a very important role in facilitating these conversations between design houses and product founders, as well as product founders should be working very closely in terms of whatever meetups, probably community channels, community activity that has been going on, to just come up with their ideas. That conversation, once it starts going, that expands the ecosystem. And once it expands the ecosystem, a lot of products will start coming out.
Right. So capital plays a very big role.
Right.
No matter if you are a first time founder, second time founder, or like a founder who's been into the series of productions.
Right.
Um, if capital was not an issue for you while building Mustard, what is the one thing you would really love to integrate?
Integrate in terms of
Uh, Either
product
on the
or
in the product or in the journey. Like, okay, if I had the no issues of capital, I would just simply pick this team, or I want this person to do it, or I want this feature in the Mustard.
oh, I'd just go a
Yeah.
bit faster. That's it.
Okay.
Nothing else. I
Oh.
wouldn't have invested on the team on early stage. I'd have a very concentrated team, work with a lot of partners, and just focus upon getting product out to the market as soon as possible. I'd also work upon exploring different geographies in terms of how we can ship product and find a right market fit. So all in all, I just run very fast towards product market fit, and the only way to do that is get a lot of these products out to the customers and collect their feedback.
Right.
That's the only way that you can do that. So 100% only focused on that, nothing else.
Got it. So you mentioned about feedbacks from consumers multiple times right now.
Right.
So to a new founder, what are the checklists you think that they should be focusing on apart from capital?
Got it.
Like top 5 things that you will check out as a first time founder.
Apart from capital,
Yeah, apart from capital.
number one should be their financial planning.
Okay.
First time founder. Oh, first time founder, right?
Yeah.
First time founder can I'd put that on a lower criticality, probably third. First should be expertise. Do they have the expertise, or do you want to have someone else work on
Hmm.
that. Second would be figuring out the distribution channels in terms of what is their go-to-market
Hmm.
strategy should be. Third is figuring out
Hmm.
the financial structure of how
Right.
theirs and teams uh, thing is going to look like. Fourth is just having an understanding of the
Hmm.
market
Hmm.
in terms of how is it moving.
Hmm.
Are we going in the right direction? Are we getting enough feedbacks?
Hmm.
When I say enough, it's like not the quality, the quantity of feedback,
Hmm.
because you are working on a growing market. The fifth one should be very specific to uh, hardware founders,
Hmm.
where I'd say of whatever push that you are getting or whatever development time that is having
Hmm.
in iteration, you actually have a checkpoint where you start releasing these, or keep a deadline on these, right?
Hmm.
Like on whatever activities that you are happening.
Right.
It's very easy to flow
Right.
in market, which was the fourth point. I also want to consider one more thing is be very open to feedback,
Hmm.
and then adjusting your ideas in a way,
Hmm.
not be very stringent.
Hmm.
That's very important point,
Right.
because you're there for the first time. uh, we pivoted mustard classes almost two times, like in
Hmm.
the whole journey.
Right.
So you have to account for the fact that there's a lot of luck that is going to get involved over there.
Hmm.
So you need to have an open mind to accept those.
Right. So, as you mentioned about people need to be open
Mm-hmm.
about their ideations
Mm-hmm.
and adjustment in those ideations.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a product development studio ourselves, there are multiple clients who walk in with us, like, to talk about and discuss about their ideas. One fear or one myth they have is ki, I don't want to change much of it. But then again, there is a difference between Indian and US based founders
Mm-hmm.
on that stage. So, Indian based founders are more conservative about their ideas and not willing to make iterations or change according to anything. They will do it, but they are very, restraining us from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you look at US based founders, they are more open to alter the ideations and be like, okay, fine, okay, we have to do these changes. Does it fit the market? Fine, let's just go it and move ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You must also be in network with many of the founders. What is one difference you feel about the US based founders and Indian based founders that think that there is such a huge difference in founder ecosystem in India and in US?
I think it all stems from the fact that India, in general, is a low trust society,
Mm-hmm.
and and anyone who has been to US or any place
Mm-hmm.
would feel that it's a high trust society, right? I mean, a very small example of that would be in some of the stores over there. They don't have checkout people
Yeah.
who are checking out your what are the materials that
Yeah.
you are taking out of that supermarket. That again stems from the fact that there is a lot of patient capital that is available in
Mm-hmm.
US versus in India, where there's not a lot of patient capital that is available, so people don't invest a lot on the capex.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why what happens is you have some x amount of money that is with you, and you become very protective of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a difference between um, you know pro- being protective of it
Mm-hmm.
because you know it,
Mm-hmm.
versus just being protective about it. If you don't know it, if you don't know that feed, I'd probably recommend that work some more time to develop trust between the partners that you are working with, so that you can have more trust in them, and then let them go
Mm-hmm.
ahead with that. This is specifically for Indian founders. I think US in general, anyone who has interacted with them will understand
Mhm.
that they are very open in terms of that,
Mhm.
and that comes from a behavior, that comes
Mhm.
from this capital standpoint. It
Mhm.
all stems from that.
Right.
So especially Indian founders should work more on the trust
Mhm.
side and then actually trust, because
Mhm.
there can't be any work without it.
Right. Okay. So now that you are manufacturing AI smart glasses, um, on that line, do you think it is actually expensive to produce them? And then to make sure that you are not in loss, is it considerable or reasonable to sell it out in a large scale?
I think it is. The only thing that you have to take care of is, it's not like the processes are not that evolved. Compared to audio, compared to smartphones, which have like 20, I'd say 10 to 20 years under their
Mhm.
belt
Mm.
in terms of manufacturing optimization,
Mm.
those kind of things. That's still not there,
Right.
but that doesn't result into anything
Mhm.
big. I think over the period, as a matter of fact, it will get more optimized.
Right.
At the end of the day, I think it depends upon the segment picking up.
Mhm.
That's what uh,
Mhm.
generally in smart glasses, it depends upon the segment picking up, as well as any other category in that way.
Mhm.
In I think in mobile phones as well as in computers, laptops, because it has matured, that's why you can see the cost being reduced. Yeah,
Mhm.
it will happen the same way with smart glasses.
Right. So as the production increases, the
Hmm.
consumption increases. And once the consumption is higher, automatically the costing will go
Exactly,
to, like, it won't go very low, but it will go to a place where everyone can afford it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And also the supply chain will evolve, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like you will be having more components which are produced the
Right,
same
right.
way.
True. Got it. Like, so in the journey of as a product development or in the journey of product launching out, what are the three red flags you think are every founder should check out
Hmm.
just before the launch of the product? Like, if you are in the process of making sure, okay, this product is launching next month,
Hmm.
but the previous month there are certain things that happening, like people may, like founders may not pick it up,
Hmm.
but if these three things happen or these three signals happen, then the founder should stop, take a look at it, and then move ahead to the launch.
I think there should be first thing should be a 7 days or 10 days window
Hmm.
wherein you give it to a completely new consumer
Hmm.
who is very interested in your product, like out of the target set, and just let them use it, and you get all the feedback, uninterrupted. Um and at the end of the probably 10th day, because the whole experience then averages out.
Hmm.
And if they say that, hey, I'd want to use it more, and I really love this feature and I've been using it for a long time, that's your indicator
Hmm.
that, okay, now they are going to actually use it for some
Right.
considerable amount of time. So one is that an unfiltered feedback from a target customer. Second, are all of your creatives in place? Are all the marketing material, everything, how your funnel is going to look like? What are the touch points that a
Hmm.
customer going to go through? Is everything is in place and on point to
Hmm.
what you had planned? Third and very important thing is, from logistics perspective, everything figured out. Is the production going right? Is the Do you have everything settled in your warehouse? Have you completed every compliance certifications that was needed? If you are shipping to multiple countries, do you have a partner who is aligned? And what is the process over there that is going to look like? So a lot of it,
Hmm.
you have to deep dive a lot into operational perspective of it.
Hmm.
So three things: one is go or no go on the product. Second, um, go or no go on the marketing flow or on the customer flow in terms of touch points and
Mhm.
buying. Third is having a checklist completed in terms of operations and actually shipping out the product.
True.
These three things.
Yeah. I think these three things cover up mostly the entire product journey. And if we have these three things on place, maybe the founder can easily figure it out, like if okay, if it is a good to go or not thing.
Right.
Yeah. Next thing I would like to ask is that when you came into the studio and like you were like, okay, you said you do your part of expertise,
Mm-hmm.
I'll come in where my part is required. And when irrespective of fact that you gave that openness and freedom, there is always one static that every founder has in mind, okay, okay, this is what I want exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And when the product was handed over to you after 16 weeks, was it the exact level of expectation that were met?
Yeah. I think that's exactly what my idea was.
Hmm.
That it it should look something like this, but then because I have done it earlier, I have never kept a very strong feeling about it, of how exactly it's a luxury.
Hmm.
I'd very much say that
Hmm.
that having that very strong idea in your mind of how it is going to look like,
Hmm.
if it is acceptable to the consumers, if consumers like it, I like it.
Hmm.
So the most important thing that I will actually look for is actually putting it out there on the hands of the consumer,
Hmm.
and they should like it.
Right.
I can have all these concepts,
Hmm.
but then at a startup level, it's a luxury to actually get that out, and you can't. I mean, you absolutely can't keep on chasing for perfection.
Right.
That that is not only for startups, but that is
Hmm.
for probably any product development in the world.
True. Got it. And like you, one highlight point I would take away from this thing is that you always say that no matter which industry, what founder, what stage founder you are, feedback is the most crucial thing you should preach about. Um, a doubt that comes up to anyone's mind is we have not yet launched, where people are not aware about, okay, this product is coming out. And at that stage, if we give someone, okay, collect people like, through forms or connections or networks, say, okay, please use this product and let us know, there will be an insecurity about spoilage or, some kind of disruption that happens. Okay, maybe people can take it away or be like you steal the idea, stuff like that.
Oh,
Do
do
you think?
they can steal the idea, but do they have the conviction of following it through?
Mhm.
I mean, do they have the do they have the conviction of going through that iteration cycle, making it evolve? It's not easy. You need at least 3 to 4 years to stabilize.
Mm.
Do they have that much intent? And obviously, that being said, that should be the driving factor. And
Mhm.
according to that, you should give your products out there.
Mm.
I mean, if you are giving it to if I'm giving these smart glasses to someone who has who's in the consumer background, but they are not doing they are they understand the consumer products, but then they have no intention to get into this.
Mm.
It's a good feedback to have. If you are giving it to consumers who are actually using it or going to use
Mm.
it, good feedback to have. If they have the intention to actually do it and then follow through that whole journey, because a lot of considerations
Yeah.
have to be taken, then it's good, right? I mean, and
Yeah.
you have two people who are pushing on the segment
Yeah.
compared to one. Obviously, don't give it to a competitor
Mhm.
company, and nobody would do that. But
Yeah.
other than them, anybody else, and if you have a key piece of IP that
Mm.
is with you,
Mm.
uh, then don't do it. If you are someone who is launching on the audio segment and then they have something amazing,
Mm.
obviously don't give it to an audio brand, you
Right.
know, or don't give it in the same segment, but
Yeah.
other than the same segment, give it to the consumers. they I very much doubt that they'll have the same level of conviction as you to
Hmm.
build that.
Right.
They are already involved in something that they
Right.
are working on, so nobody would
Right.
do that.
So I would like to hear from you one of such feedbacks and interesting feedback that you got on mustard. Since you must have taken like tons of feedback from a lot of
Right.
consumers and people who are actually using those glasses.
Mhm.
What was one or two of the interesting feedbacks that you received, or interesting feedback that you would always keep in mind that affected on mustard's progress?
Right. So I mean, I'll keep it very general in terms of product as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I got a I got a feedback from one of the developers who was working. He was from Israel, and he was working on this application which we provided him the smart glasses, and he was like, hey, why uh, I want to build a memory application
Mm-hmm.
because my I think one of his grandparents were affected from Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
Then he wanted to build that to help them. And at the same point, someone around me, when we were actually
Mm-hmm.
presenting this, he came up with the same idea.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, we are willing to fund anyone who's
Mm-hmm.
working on this. It was like, either we can do it
Yeah.
or he can do it. He has more conviction on, and
Mm-hmm.
understanding, and he's learn and understand and
Mm-hmm.
then actually execute it. It's better that we help him with the hardware and
Right.
he can build something on top of it, and then he can join hands with them and commercialize this, and we focus on what we are best. So that was one of the major feedbacks that we had, wherein how can we make it a bit more open? How can we provide a lot of support on developing something on top of mustard glasses? There was a second one which was not specific to glasses but audio, wherein when we were shipping out one of those products, there was a special mode which was the highlight of the product, which got activated only after you click a button on the device. So you had to click it once to get it activated, and the product went on. It was good, but then I started calling the customers and I started asking them, hey, are you actually using that feature? They were like, yeah, we are using it. You know how to activate it. They said, no, it comes by default, right? I like the sound by default. So I then realized that you also have to make the product very intuitive. It A lot of times, I know you can't do it initially, but try to do it as much as you can to make it very intuitive. Bit I mean, make it 40% working out of the box, not 100% in a new category, I'll say, but make it 40% working out of the box, and don't add any blocker, any fancy things from your own to do that. And that's where the whole consumer feedback adds to your skill set as well as your products.
So, moving on to what's next in AI smart glasses.
Mhm.
So, what do you think of future of eyewear is going to be down the lane, maybe 5 years from now?
I think there would be development on both of those fronts in which we started, right?
Mm,
There would be development on optics
mm,
as well as there would be development um, on the infra layer, which
mm,
or on the transportation layer, which works on the inputs given to smart glasses actually transmitted, and then the AI being acted upon it.
right.
So I think these two segments will grow a lot.
Mhm,
Third and most important segment that I think would grow is also creating a application ecosystem around it.
mm,
That's one of the most important things. I
right.
think I'd assume Meta would have done that, but they didn't. Google is launching their own OS into this,
Mm.
but then again, I'm very doubtful. I think we need a startup who can champion this
Right.
and then push it to execution, because everybody else has a certain set of metrics that they are following,
Mhm.
and these metrics just don't fall into place
Mhm.
for them to create an app ecosystem.
Right.
So optics working on the communication there.
Mhm.
Third is working on the application ecosystem. 5 years from now, it would be like 100% working out of the box
Right.
with your own set of applications. And you would be also seeing some of these outputs being provided not only through audio but also from your optics. I
Mhm.
mean, overlaying the
Right.
information in front of you.
Right. Right. So, as you were saying, I just like few of the things that came down to me is like if there is a new founder out there, like you said, when you're 20, you just have to go and experiment and to take the risk of doing it all. There are founders right now out there, like who are in college and like they have ideations to do, and they are like, okay, maybe I have to do something. But in that also, just like you mentioned, there has to be a startup that does software around AI smart nurses.
Right.
Where they are not specifically doing that. And people these days are more of about like less of a product. Like if you see the generation, it's more of a software based than a product hardware
True.
product based. So what do you think if this was an open platform for a call to
Mhm.
the new founders out there, okay, um, what would be one feature or what would be one thing you would really like to have in that software application, and maybe people can connect with us or you through this
Oh, yeah,
podcast.
for sure. I think if you can, I'd very much love some application like Healthify Me,
Mm-hmm.
something that keeps a track of what I am having in a day,
Mm-hmm.
and then do all the calorie counting in a way.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a big market. I think all the fitness enthusiasts
Yeah.
would
Currently, it's a huge market.
really love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think people should build on that. Founders should build on that. But not only that, they can couple up with a lot of
Yeah.
these
Definitely.
applications, right? They can build a lot of not only Healthy Me, they can also do it with Kite.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching yourself in front of a,
Mm-hmm.
there are mirrors, then checking your, giving you feedback on your posture
Mm.
when you are working out.
Oh, so
Things like
AI
those.
integrated mirrors, is that like
Yeah,
it,
you can wear those glasses,
oh,
and
that
then you
way?
can see yourself.
Yeah.
You can also do that, right? And then
Yeah,
it
true.
becomes a whole ecosystem of
Yeah,
glasses which takes care of your health. It's a
true,
very
true.
interesting thing to do.
Yeah, that's really interesting if it is able to calculate your body mass and like stuff like that.
E-
That's so cool.
exactly, track your progress,
Yeah.
ensure that you are working out in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. I think someone, if they dedicatedly think about it and have enough conviction, patience,
Mm-hmm.
everything's resources to build around it, there
Right.
are a lot of things that can be built around it. It's
True,
not
true.
just hardware.
Right. So very true. So I think the new founders that are watching this will definitely reach out, think, and maybe they
Yes,
have a new idea to work on, right?
for sure they should have.
Okay. One value that you took away or
Mhm.
are taking with you moving forward in your life from your product development journey in Mustard.
I think we need to account for things going the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important.
Right.
Uh, After a certain point of time, you always start thinking that I know things,
Mm-hmm.
but give yourself a bit of space when you are entering into new things to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then be prepared for it. Like,
Right.
just add it in terms of timelines or whatever that you are planning.
Right.
Have that expectation aligned.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, I mean, in my product development journey as well,
Mm-hmm.
I'd keep some space for things going a bit wrong.
Right.
And secondly, at the same time, I'll keep more time for my luck
Hmm.
to act on more.
Right.
I think I was talking with one of the um, so we were a team of 10 people
Mhm.
who went into CES. 10 different startups from India. We went into CES, and one of them is a very good friend of mine.
Mhm.
We stayed together over there in Las Vegas. And when we came back to India, when all of this conversation happened with the Keynes acquisition and those things, he he just mentioned one very, I think it's a bittersweet, it's a
Right.
sweet thing that he mentioned to me, that in during CES we met somewhere around 1500 2000 people in 3 days,
Oh.
and you have to be stall repeating the same pitch moment after moment after moment.
Yeah.
Out of those 1500 2000 people, there was someone from Keynes. If at that moment I would have even taken a break to go to grab
Yeah.
something to eat, grab something to drink, or even take rest, not give enough importance to someone who was communicating there, this would have never turned out the way
Right.
that we are here today. So it's very important to have enough time, have enough mind space to give your 100% day in day out over the period, and then also give time for your luck to work in
Right.
your favor.
True. So very true. So it's all about your hard work combined with your luck and
Yeah,
your opportunities that you grab.
exactly.
Yeah.
So let's say someone comes to analogy, right,
Mm-hmm.
and they have some, I'm assuming a lot of times they have some very broad idea in their mind, or they have something very specific which is not
Mm-hmm.
very much practical. And there would be a lot of situations like that,
Right.
right? How do you go along the process and make them understand
Mm-hmm.
what's possible, what's not, and then help them refine the ideas?
Right. So when a client comes to us, they are very specific. Like some of them come with just an idea,
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Okay, I just have an idea. I want to create into a product," and some walking with checklist of features they want,
Mm-hmm.
and others come up with like, "Okay, I already have certain thing previously made, and I just want a refinement to be that," which is like all the three cases are good to have.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one is more better than other thing, but we consider it as the first stage, and as a team we never consider it as a final stage,
Mm-hmm.
because we have to look into the market too. We need to
Right.
do our end of research, where the team sits and look into the market of the
Mm-hmm.
industry that product is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it already acquired with such product?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a new product that is coming out in the industry?
Mm-hmm.
What is the percentage or the rate of the success rate of this product if it comes out,
Mm-hmm.
based on if there are any competitors they have,
Mm-hmm.
based on all this research work that goes behind. We curate about what are the possibilities of this product being created and not created, and we sit with the client with the second round, and we tell them, "Okay, okay, this is how it is going to be. If you want this thing, this will
Mm-hmm.
happen. What are the possibilities of multiple outcomes?"
Right.
Is what we explain it to them. Now, as I mentioned previously, few of the Indian founders, they are quite restricted about these changes and updations. They will stick to the idea only and be like, no changes, just go with it.
Mm-hmm.
So later on, the whatever happens after the launch is like completely on the founders thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we try our best to give a product that comes out into the market. When it is launched, it actually stays with the consumer and
Right.
not just on any shelf again.
Right.
So yeah, that's what the thing team does. And currently how we function is that once we get the client and the product, After the research is done, we go through the entire process of conceptualizing it,
Mm-hmm.
bringing and then prototyping it. And then in prototyping, we make sure that number of iteration, number of possibilities are done. So we have something that will actually work out.
Mm-hmm.
And we are now helping out founders to also connect with the vendors, like manufacturing
Right.
units. So it's like a one place where they come in from the idea to the actual product launch in the market.
That's good because they need idea refinement.
Yeah.
I should have come to analogy earlier, right?
Anyways, you are still part of the analogy,
That's good.
and maybe for the next product line, you can still come in.
Of course, I'll do that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for coming on
Thanks,
the show,
Asmi.
Himanshu. It was great talking to you, and we got much of insights of AI smart glasses and overall how the hardware founders work on everything. Really, thank you for having.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
Asmi. And
Thank you.
thanks to Analogy for helping me along the way and along the journey of mustard smart glasses.
I hope today's conversation showed you what it actually takes to go from napkin sketch to market. If you are someone who is building a physical product, AI driven hardware, or working on something that has to survive the collision between the vision and reality, that is a journey most people rarely talk about. If you like this episode, give a like to the video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends and family who are building something. And don't forget to comment what stood out to you the most. And if you're sitting on an idea and don't know what are the next steps to be taken, book a free consultancy call with our experts. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next episode.